Here at Pure Chaos, he's fantastic. Give it up for Eliot Thompson!
What's going on? So happy that you guys are here. The last time I was at St. Vitus, I saw this death metal band called Nightcrawler, and the lead singer, before they started, he hit his face so many times with the microphone that he started bleeding from his face. And the crowd did the opposite of what you guys are doing. They loved it. That's what they are there. That's what they came for. And I was trying to think, like, what would be like the comedy equivalent? And I was thinking it would be like, oh, like, what's the deal with airline food? And then I just projectile vomited all over the first row. So get ready for my first joke. The ponchos are under your seats, so I'd put those on. Andrew Cuomo. Do we remember this man? Our former governor, Andrew. The beginning of COVID's a little murky for some, but he ruined my life. Before COVID, I had the best job I'd ever had. I was a weed delivery guy, and it was the best. And then Andrew famously legalized weed, and my life shambles. It's a little bit more complicated. Do we remember how much liberal America, loved Andrew Cuomo for that brief moment at the beginning of COVID? It was special. Okay, here's what happened. February 2020, New Yorkers, before COVID, the New Yorkers, we don't care for Andrew Cuomo. It's not really about him. We just haven't liked anybody that we've ever elected. As soon as we elect you, we hate you immediately. And we'll re-elect you, but it's like, ugh. Give it another try, you know? Ugh. But COVID, okay, and then COVID hits. Trump gets on television like, What Science? Andrew Cuomo gets on CNN with his brother Chris and is like, Science, I think I've heard of it. And that was the bar. And liberal America, it wasn't just love for Andrew. It was, if we're being honest, it was something more than love. It was horny. America got horny for Andrew Cuomo. He would do these Zoom sessions with his little brother Chris on CNN. And Andrew would say things like, if one New Yorker has COVID, we all have COVID. And normal people would get on the internet and be like, I am masturbating to this. This is getting me simultaneously hard and wet. And him and Chris would do this weird little, like, mommy baby. Do you remember when Chris would be like, Mommy spanked me, she never spanked you, why? You know? And Andrew would be like, because I was getting things done. You know? And we were like, I'm about to finish, honestly. And then we found out that sweet Andrew had kissed too many assistants. There's a number that you're allowed to as governor. They give you a couple. It was over the limit. He was kissing him, he was giving him licks. He's a weird guy. And to our credit, you know, we turned on Andrew. Do you guys remember the term Cuomosexual? Yeah. We were identifying as Cuomosexuals. And then we found out Andrew had kissed too many assistants. And we were like, Andrew, we're not actually homosexuals anymore. We're feeling pretty homophobic right now. And you gotta go. And then Andrew was like, I swear he did this. He said, because of the kissing? I've gotta go because of the kissing? And we're like, yes. And he was like, because of the licks? And we're like, definitely. And then he really said, well, I'll have you know that telling me that I can't kiss my subordinates, that's anti-Italian discrimination. He said that. He said, you telling me that I can't put my employees in my mouth, that's against my culture. And Italians were like, shut the fuck up, man. Shut up, man. And Andrew's like, I'm Italian. I kiss the people, okay? And then he read the room and he was like, this isn't working. What if I just legalized weed? Could I still be governor then? What if? And we were like, just do it, and just do it, and we'll see. And then he did it out of nowhere. And we were like, nah, you still gotta go, sorry. This'll mean something to some of you. Before the pandemic, my company, we were selling $60 eighths of weed. Yeah. When Andrew legalized it, there was no infrastructure. You could only buy weed legally in New York for the first time like 2 weeks ago. But also you could everywhere. Right now, you can go to any bodega, and the child who works there full time he will make you a bacon, egg, and cheese and put a $25 eighth in the bacon, egg, and cheese and charge you $28. So yeah, I've got no money. It's all right. It's not a big deal. I don't think money can buy you happiness. I do think that it can whittle down some of the reasons why you're not happy. You know what I mean? You can just be like, well, it wasn't that. So, good, that's good. Like, rich people are the only people who can be like truly depressed. You know what I mean? Just like true depression. That's a rich privilege. If you're rich and sad, that's a disease. And you need to get that fixed immediately. But if you're poor and sad, how do you know? How do you know that it's depression and not just your shitty life? During the pandemic, I was so broke I couldn't pay my bills, and I called up a friend of mine. She's a shrink, and I was like, I'm feeling bad, dude. And she's like, well, hear me out. Maybe we could get you like on an SSRI antidepressant, get that mood up a little bit. And I was like, before we get all pill crazy, before we try changing my brain chemistry, what if we tried prescribing me something like $700? I think that might fix me, honestly. $1,000, even just thinking about $1,000 has raised my mood. I'm like, oh my God. Imagine that, This is the only thing I had to do all day. So, I took the bus here. Hell yeah, some bus fans. I like the bus. It's the only place in New York City where nobody is in a rush. If it's a special community. If you're on the bus, you know that you're just going to get there when you get there. Everybody on the bus is chilling. If you're on the bus, you've got somewhere to go, but you've got nowhere to be. You know what I mean? I used to take the bus a lot. I tore my ACL over the pandemic. It's all right. And I was seeing a physical therapist at NYU, and I swear to God, maybe like 6 months ago, I got a call from them telling me that my physical therapist had been fired. Yeah, because he wouldn't get the vaccine, actually. Yeah, the mandate got him. That's what they said on the phone. I don't know. They called me up and they're like, the mandate got him. And I'm like, oh. I was actually well aware of his position. Anti-vaxxers, I don't know if you know any, but they don't really keep that to themselves. They let you know. As a community, very transparent. It's pretty nice. Our last session, it was all we talked about. And I don't know, he's a medical professional, you know? My medical professional. And I don't know if you've had this experience when you've been talking, arguing with somebody who knows a lot more about a subject that you're sure that you are right about. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't know this, but some of these anti-vaxxers, or at least my guy, he had been reading. I didn't know that there was homework. I hadn't been keeping up, you know? He was talking about spike proteins. I was like, I don't think that's right. Spikes, no way, dude. Maybe on your proteins. My proteins, spike-free, guaranteed. You could tell he was getting a little cocky, a little bit, about how good of an anti-vaxxer he is, you know? He's got a whole website. He's like semi-pro. And I just want to be like, just because you beat me in an argument, and he destroyed me. It wasn't even but just because you beat me, that doesn't mean that you're right. You know what I mean? Like maybe take one look at me, man. Maybe I'm just dumb. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the face of vaccine. I'm not the vaccine representative. I'm not the one they want represent. You know what I mean? Imagine if I was the guy on CNN just being like, come on, man. Just get it. I don't know. It's cool, man. There's spikes involved. I got the vaccine because I've never turned down free drugs in my life. My PT, he was like, don't you know the vaccine, it makes you feel like shit for days after? I was like, yeah, but all the best drugs do. So go ahead and stick it in me. And they did, yeah, a couple times. But I think things are getting better. Maybe not. I've said that a bunch, huh? I'm stoked on the president. What's his name? Joe? Biden? Yeah. We haven't really heard from him in a while, but I'm pretty sure he's still in there. And I was Team Joe day one. How many can say that? Dude, first time I saw Joe walk on stage, I don't know if Joe walks, I don't know how he gets around, but the first time I saw Joe on stage, I was like, you're my dude. Here's what I liked about Joe. I liked that Joe didn't run on anything. Joe had no plans. That was very relatable. I was like, I'm taking the year off too, dude. Don't work so hard. You know what I mean? But I feel like in retrospect, Trump and Biden, like there are some similarities that maybe we could have picked up on. You know, like they're both old, they're both white, and they both have dementia. They both do. I feel like Trump's dementia, though, he's got a different strain. It's different. His dementia, it's got something. It's got a je ne sais quoi. It's got a His dementia has it's a confidence. That's what it is. He's on stage just like, I haven't made sense in 20 minutes. But look at them. They love it. And they love it. But Biden, poor Biden, his dementia is just not quite as confident. It hurts him. It hurts Biden when he forgets. You know, Biden knows he's supposed to know. I think that's a little better. This is my favorite. Do you guys remember when Biden forgot Obama's name? That was the best. It was during the primaries. Biden's on stage just like, I'm just so proud of the work that me and then he said, you know the guy. He said, you know the guy. I was like, Joe, baby, we all know the guy. Okay? We need you to know the guy. Yeah, how did I cope with the pandemic? I drank through it pretty much. I recommend it. It worked for me. And some people, you know, like, she doesn't drink. That seems hard. Because then your brain is just on smart the whole time. And you don't get to do a bunch of stuff that you would have done and not all that stuff is bad. All right? Like, I visited a friend, my friend Pancho. I visited him in upstate New York. And Pancho lives next to this cow farm. And the cows are surrounded by an electric fence. And there's not much to do in upstate New York except get hammered. It's their number one sport. And so we get ripped, and Pancho's like, well, the main activity is we usually just go for a walk around the fence. I'm like, okay. And so we're drunk on this walk, and Pancho's like, yo, Eliot, man, I dare you to put your dick on that fence. And here's the thing about dares is that when you're drunk, they're real. If Pancho said that to me sober, I'd been like, you dare me to do what? I dare you to grow up. But when I'm drunk, it was like, oh, I've been given a quest. You know, the good name of my family rides on this. And I was raised right, so I was like, all right, Pancho, I'm not gonna do it for free, okay? You're gonna have to pay me to put my dick on this electric fence. And Pancho's like, I don't have any money, man. What if we just like both do it? And I was like, oh, you strike a hard bargain, my friend. God damn. And so I'm looking down at this fence. I'm thinking this fence might change my life. You know, this might be the last thing my dick ever does. And I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, oh no, that's just gonna make it even more powerful. That's not good. And I start praying, but I'm not religious. I haven't prayed in decades. And so I start to pray, and I'm like, please. And then I was like, if I haven't checked in with God in this, I don't know if right now is when I want us to reconnect. You know what I mean? You guys ever do this? You ever pray and then I deep prayed. I sent it back down. I prayed and then I was like, never mind. I looked it up. If you catch the prayer in the first 30 seconds, it doesn't make it all the way. And it comes, I'm gonna save that. So Pancho, you know, he does a countdown. He's like, are you ready? 3, 2, and you know, my dick's a little bit like a Murphy bed, you know, kind of like a. And it turned out it was just a regular fence. It wasn't electric at all, but you can't be doing that sober, going around testing out fences with your penis. That's a drunk activity. I've been thinking a lot about my targeted ads. You guys paying attention to these? They're not like regular ads. They're targeted, like a drone strike. You know, and it's based on my activity, right? So it's almost like the algorithm is giving you a little bit of yourself back to you. You know what I mean? Like it's almost showing you a little mirror of what the algorithm thinks that you are. And I just want to say, fellas, I don't know if you can relate, but my penis works just fine. And I've got a lot of hair on my head for now, and I've never wanted to be alpha. I've never wanted to be like an alpha man. And for the past 2 years, my feed has just been inundated with ED medications, hair thickening foams, and like shirtless men who want to like make a man out of me. And I'm not searching for this stuff, I swear. So that just means that I have the exact internet tendencies, like to where they're sure of just an impotent, bald coward. I'm just scrolling every day like a flaccid Mr. Clean, just terrified. A new ad dropped on the feed earlier this week. I don't know if you guys, it's for mushrooms. I'm getting psychedelic mushrooms on Instagram. I didn't even know that was cool. But they're psychedelic, but they're for productivity. They're for work. I don't think the most pessimistic hippie could have predicted this hell. You want to trip balls to do better at your job, dude? That's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. You're just at your cubicle and your boss is like, "Can you step it up?" And you're like, "Okay." And you pop a little cap, you know? Maybe a stem. And you just enter ego death. And your identity dissolves, your third eye opens, and like an Excel shortcut appears. Oh, thanks, mushrooms. Saved the day. Hey, you guys have been great. I've been Eliot Thompson. Thanks so much.
Give it up for Eliot Thompson.